program was developed to turn regular survivors into certified responder volunteers. That sounds nice. As a volunteer, your job is to help others. That's good, that's what I'm into. And our job as a responder is to help everybody. That sounds like my general ethics. Thank you very much. Register here. It's nice to see this so early in the game. Report to Keisha for further instructions. Okay. It's dark, isn't it? This quest line has been pushed out early. Most new players are going to come down here, are going to see this. 90%, 90% are going to come down here and see this early. And a concept that they put in the game early is being nice to people. They've stuck that concept in there. You don't have to do it. You don't have to be nice to people. But there it is. An organisation, people that are being nice to people. It's giving you that general idea. It's put that theme in your mind. Now, you don't have to do it. You don't have to do it. But they could have sent you down a road where you have to start murdering people and stealing their things. They could have done that. That's an option. But the people who have designed the game have put this theme for you to follow. It's up to you. But I think that's really important. I think that's really good. If you're running an MMO, if you're creating an online game, you're not just providing a place for people to play. Of course, that's the main thing. You're building a playground, essentially, and then you say, there's the open gates, anyone can come. But you're also curating that space, aren't you? You're making sure that people aren't rude to each other, aren't being mean to each other in excessive ways. They're not cheating. You make sure that, obviously, the people that run the game keep an eye on what's going on in the game, don't they? If people are cheating, they kick them off. If people are saying excessively horrible things to somebody, bullying them, they'll kick them off. There's that. They curate the game. They watch over what's happening and make sure that it's not getting out of hand. But in order to create a good environment, it's not just creating a physical environment, these rendered pieces, these textures, these places. It's not just that. It's also creating an environment where people behave well, and it seems that they've done a good job because the people are behaving really nicely to me so far. And maybe it's a function of this seed in your mind, helping each other. That concept in a church, no less, from a church, no less, has been seeded early on, and in places that the places they have built to put these ideas in, comfortable, familiar, inoffensive, non-imposing, not intimidating. That's a small church, small country church, wooden. This is an old bar, like a pub, somewhere comfortable and cozy. Okay, it's nuclear wasteland, isn't it? And it's got neon lights and it's been destroyed, but the seed is there. The seed of the idea, something familiar and cozy. In a small street, a bakery, fresh coffee. Now that's not accidental, I promise you, that is not accidental. I used to work in hairdressing, and it seems, I'll do big face. I will apologise as well when I do this. Where's my big face? I apologise if I'm out of sync. It sometimes happens. I've got to get a better computer. I've got to work on the sync issues. We're trying to work on them. But you watch me talking, it's not so good. I worked in hairdressing and I learned a lot. And it wasn't just about cutting hair. Sometimes I learned a lot about psychology. I also went to university and studied psychology and studies in social psychology, so that helped. But these signs, we used to do it in the salon. When you come in the salon, right, you sit down in a lovely cozy waiting area, and I had these sort of pictures on them. I had one of hot chocolate. It was a lady, she was delivering, it was like an art, Parisian painted art piece. There was this lady, she was delivering hot chocolate. It was this, these concepts that I'm putting in people's minds when they're sat in my waiting room are comfort and warmth. And then I hand them a warm cup of, do you want tea or coffee? Could do a hot chocolate if you want, just like the lady on the wall. Okay, yeah, over on that pin board there were hair ideas. Yeah, we did have hair ideas. Yeah, we did have pictures of hair. Not hair ideas from like supermodels with super extravagant hair like make you feel bad because you haven't got what I've got. nice ideas that you could actually wear, and things that you might. I had a variety, so you could pick one off the wall and say, "That's what I'm looking for. That's the sort of thing," so we can talk and be heard and understand each other. But the general waiting area, apart from that, there were a couple of magazines as well, a couple of hair magazines. I didn't want Wow magazine and Super Vogue make you feel bad. I wanted nice things that make you feel comfortable. So I'd give them a cup of coffee or tea or hot chocolate, and I had this mug gets warm, but the metal cups I had, they were like little metal cups. I used to keep them on top of the coffee machine, keep them warm. Now it's nice to have a warm cup of coffee to keep your coffee warm, but really what was happening is I was sitting someone down in a situation, comfortable cushions, cozy, warm cup of coffee in your hand, feeling the warmth in your hands. There was a study done where in the study they had two groups of people, like a proper scientific study, and they were told that they were going to go to a job interview, and then afterwards they were to rate the interviewer on how the interviewer did the job interview. So they go in this lift, and on the way up in the lift, the examiner, the scientist or whoever was observing them, the observer, would say, "Oh, could you just hold my drink for a second while I just get my clipboard together?" So they'd hold the drink, and then they give it back, and then they go to the interview. Half the time, half the group were given a warm cup of coffee to hold, and half the time they were given a cold soda. So lo and behold, the group that was holding a warm cup of coffee, when put through the same interview process, the controlled scientific interview process, they came away and their answers were that they felt the interviewer was warm, friendly, helpful, things like that. They were just same process, but the other people held a cold drink, a soda, and they said the interviewer was cold and closed, difficult. They had a divergence in their feelings, their empathy feelings with the person they were dealing with, purely based on the physical experience of holding something warm or cold, of feeling comfortable and warm or feeling cold and clammy. And that led them to think differently about it. Now, we do Mental Health Monday on this stream, and every Mental Health Monday we look at a different mental health issue, and one of the things that's come up has been the cognitive triangle, that your thoughts affect your feelings, affect your actions, and your actions affect your feelings, and your actions affect your thoughts, and they all interact with each other. So holding this warm thing or holding this cold thing can actually affect your feelings and your thoughts, and that can actually affect your interactions with people, and that can then have a knock-on effect, etc., etc. So if I knew that, which I did, when I learned that, I thought, that's brilliant, that's interesting, that's amazing. So when it became my choice to Mental Health Mondays, like holding a warm cup of tea. That's nice to think. Good. I've seen an ASMR artist do this exact thing that I'm talking about at the start of a video. I used to do it with my Zelda noise a little bit, but I've seen, and she's quite good. She's doing this deliberately. She's quite clever in doing this. She starts her video with the sounds of a kettle boiling, a tea being poured, a ding ding ding, and you're psychologically predisposed to expect that warm cup of tea. Then you're in that frame of mind. So that's very clever the way she does that. So these are real things that happen. So in my waiting area, when it was my salon, when it was my turn to paint the walls and to fit the chairs and to pay for the fucking coffee machine, I didn't, no expense spared on the coffee machine. Lovely, you press that button, you get ground beans to cut. I learned that from my previous boss. Important. I'm doing a hairdresser's, important coffee machine. You can go to Costa and you can spend money, but you're not getting a better coffee than I do in my salon. We've got the best coffee in town, yeah? And you get a little free cup of that with you just for coming in, sitting in the waiting room, and you hold it, and you're in this environment, like I said, and lo and behold, what happens? When you come to sit down for your haircut, when you walk into that hairdressing salon room and you come to sit down for your haircut, you're feeling calm, comfortable, relaxed, you're ready to have a positive interaction with the stylist. Isn't that good to pre-brief someone, to sow those seeds? Because in hairdressing, we were going to go through what for somebody might be an anxious, difficult moment, and people get uncomfortable. And the main thing is to make them really comfortable so that you learn what they want to do and you do it for them, and they go away feeling happy. That's the most important thing. So now that I know all that, I don't think this is a mistake here. I don't think this is a random choice to put a bakery with a coffee shop sign. They can't hand you a warm cup of coffee, but this is the closest they can do, is give you these small psychological cues that you don't really focus on, that you take in subconsciously, that add up to feelings. And that happens in life, that happens in advertising, it happens in marketing, it happens when you go in the supermarket, so it happens everywhere. And if you're not going to be using it in your game, you're missing a trick. So I think there's no mistake here that this heartbeat, this love sign, they've dressed it up as being a medical sign, but really it's a symbol of love that we recognise, isn't it? It's superimposed on top of a shield as well, a sort of police-like shield, a symbol of safety for some. You approach a church. You approach a church, a church. You approach a church. You see the coffee in the bakery. You know? I think that's all deliberate. And the lady as well, she's got a dog. These are not mistakes.
Hi there.
She's female, I suppose maternal in some aspects. And this dog, I don't know, some people might feel differently about the dog, but I certainly feel positively and warm and friendly towards a dog. So there you go. I think they've done this deliberately, and I think it's a good job, and I think it's deliberately done to make people feel like being more cooperative, more warm to each other as they play through this game. So good job, good job, good job, good job. Really interesting use of design, isn't it? That's art. That's what art is. They've created things to invoke feelings, and they've done a really good job of it. I'm happy with that. Yeah, I'm really happy with that.